Do you like my seat? Now, Daddy's car sales was based in the Quai de Javel factory. From there, it was sent to America. Apart from that, it's all good. On the day I got it, I got a text message that evening from a knobhead. He said, get that out of here, because he knows I get stroppy, which I did a lot.
He's not here.
Is he not? This is amazing. Right, so it's the next day from my rude phone call. I emailed the detective Don last night, and he replied really quickly and said that there might be some other numbers you can try, but he thinks that Minor will be happy to talk about it. Apparently he's quite chatty about the car, so I'm sitting in the SM for good luck as well. See if that works. Right, that number didn't even ring, so...
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Hi there, could I speak to Minor Dickerson, please?
Yes, that's me. That'd be me.
Oh, hello. My name's Richard, and I've got a car that you used to own about probably 2 or 3 decades ago.
Okay, yeah.
Do you
How
have?
can I help you?
Do you have 5 minutes just to sort of fill me in a couple of bits on it?
Sure.
Well, yeah. Basically, I haven't got a lot of information for it. I'm actually sat in it now. What I've learned so far is that it was bought new somewhere in that area, and then it was owned by Motor Sales, Jim Duddy.
Yes, Jim Duddy. That's where I got it.
So you're probably the last person who had this car on the road, the last person who used it.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you remember? I mean, when did you buy it? Do you remember? And when did you get rid of it?
Oh boy, I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, I don't have any papers. I didn't keep any papers.
No.
Right.
No. Well, yeah, you wouldn't, would you? It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think Bruce was quite surprised that it still existed. I think he thought it would have been cubed by now.
Oh, okay, all right. Now somebody talked to Don Stratton about it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, my friend is the guy who found Don Stratton. He's the one who uncovered him. And then Don he's been amazingly helpful with it. He just took off. He was gone. He was finding. He mentioned you.
He's quite a guy. He's a retired policeman, detective, and I don't know how old he is, but yeah, he's very knowledgeable about a lot of different things. So yeah.
Yeah, no, he was brilliant, and he so basically he mentioned you, and he went down to the Jim Duddy site where the car sales used to be, and he videotaped that, and then he went and found Tom Duddy, who was Jim Duddy's brother, I think.
Tom, I don't know.
Well,
go ahead.
He videotaped an interview with him about the car for me. I didn't know he was doing any of that, so he's been absolutely brilliant.
Huh.
But so I'm basically just trying to piece things together, because obviously I've got no paperwork, I've got nothing with the car, so I'm trying to put their story together. And I didn't buy the car directly from the States. I bought the car from a guy in the UK, and he bought the car from the person who imported it, but we can't remember who that is, annoyingly. So we think it came to the UK in 2018.
Yeah,
but
that's a story. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that checks out then. So you owned it. You must have owned it from. It's got to be late 80s. I would have thought. The oldest coin I can find in it, which is probably one of yours, is a cent, and it's from 1988.
Yeah, could be. I wish I had kept stuff on it. I can't remember. The one thing I do remember about it is that it was kept. There was always something that needed fixed on it. The windows or something, and then something happened to the transmission.
Right.
And Andy Duddy, Jim Duddy's son, worked on it. And at one time, Andy Duddy took out the transmission and fixed it without taking the motor off. But he was motor out, and he was talking to somebody in Chicago, as I recall, that said, "No, you can't do that. You know, that's impossible to do." But I sincerely believe that he did it.
He did it. Yeah, he did the impossible. He found a way.
Yeah, he found a way. But people don't care about him much over here. But I guess Don says that you're in England, are you, Richard?
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he says that over there they're very popular and people like them. So.
Yeah, I mean, the story of these cars is really fascinating. But it was a car that they thought they could sell in America because they didn't sell many French cars over there, and they thought that the Americans would like it because it's a big cruiser, you know, quite kind of similar to the American cars at the time. But they didn't teach the mechanics how to work on it. They just kind of sent them to the dealers and took the money, and that was it. And it's nothing like anything over there.
Yeah, and then the gas crisis and the EPA restrictions. I think isn't that a 1974? I think
it's a 73, but it was actually
73.
Yeah, it was actually built December 72, but it wouldn't have been into the States until 73 at least. But yeah, I basically got the car to restore it because they're worth. I mean, done up over here, they're worth quite a lot of money, probably a lot more than they are over there. That's not my reason.
I'm sure that's right.
Yeah, it's not my reason for doing it. It's my dream car. I've always wanted one of these. So, it's.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. So, do you have any memories of driving it? Do you have anything that sticks in your head?
Well, we didn't drive it very far or very much. Like I said, there was something that went wrong with it pretty much.
Yeah.
And but we did drive it around, and we didn't take any trips with it or go into any Citroen clubs, shows or anything like that. But it was fun to own, and it drew attention. That's for sure.
Did it?
Yeah. Well, Jim Duddy, he had it parked outside. I think he got it up around Cleveland at an auction or something.
That's it. Yeah, that's what Tom said.
He had Tom is Jim Duddy's son. I don't remember Tom.
He's getting on. He must be. He looked like he was in his 80s, but I mean, he could be his son. I don't know how old Jim Duddy was at the time.
No, that's probably his brother, but I don't know. I never met him, never heard of him.
Yeah.
Anyway. So.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. He remembered the car. He remembered having to play around with the window switches a lot. They kept playing up.
Oh, yeah.
They don't work now, as you can probably guess. But he said also the shifter, the shift lever in it is not from this car. It's from a different car. They put that in. It's from a Peugeot. And as soon as he said that, it answered the question, because that was one of the things I was confused about.
Well, the same with the tail lights. The tail lights don't match, so I don't know what happened there. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
The red lights on the rear. I'm sure they're not the same. They're different.
So when you had the car, you really you had it as like a play toy, really, and it wasn't you weren't using it as your everyday transport. No, we didn't do that. But yeah, my wife drove it, and it was a fun car to drive. Yeah. Wow. Well, no, I'm really chuffed to speak to you about it. That's
And anytime, Richard.
That's,
Yep.
yeah, that's really cool. If you remember anything else, or do
Okay, I'll let you know.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
get a hold of you.
Did
If I ran across anything, I sure wish I would have hung on to
well,
the stuff.
you probably didn't
I'll
expect
look
it would
around.
survive, so you probably thought it
No,
wouldn't.
I thought it was all. Yeah, I thought it was crushed or all done. But
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah. It's it's been really good to talk to you about it.
Yeah. I before I got this one, I wanted to know more about them, so I went up to Detroit, and they had a couple up there somewhere that I looked at, but I decided to go ahead and get this one and not one of theirs up there.
Yeah. So Jim
If
Duddy sounds like Jim Duddy had it as his own car, and then sold it on his lot.
Yeah, he sold on the lot. That's where it was. Everything's torn down now on that lot. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite a character. He was quite a character too. So.
Oh well, that's brilliant. Thanks so much for that.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, Richard, pleasure to talk to you.
Yep,
If
and you.
come across anything, I'll let you know, and I'll look at the YouTube.
Yeah,
That'll
it's all on there. Yeah. I'll the next video I'm doing is about the history of the car. All right, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye. Oh wow, that's amazing. He drove this car. He's the last guy to drive this car. Shame he couldn't remember what it was like. I mean, wow, that wasn't actually that long ago. That was probably a month and a bit ago. And just crazy to speak to the guy. So I'd heard all sorts of stories on Facebook as to why he stopped driving it, but it sounds like it was mostly because it was temperamental. It was a high days and holidays car. It wasn't something he was relying on every day for transport, which is probably wise. And so he gave it to his friend, Bruce, to see if he wanted to do something with it. Now, he didn't have the car very long at all. I've spoken to him very briefly on Facebook chat, but he doesn't seem particularly into it, if I'm honest. He's probably like, yeah, I don't care. It was, 20, 30 years ago. I don't care. I don't have that car anymore. Whatever. This is when it starts to get a little bit messy, because potentially, we know he took the car down to Brims Imports in Kenton, Ohio, which is not far from Lima, asking if they could do anything with it. And they basically gave him, they wrote the car off to him effectively. Now, I didn't know why. I'd heard one person say they thought the engine was seized. I think that might have been him, actually, on that message. It was something else. And then, obviously, the phone call with Miner just now suggested it was rusty, which it is. Really rusty. He took it down to them, and they basically said, we can't do it. We'll give you scrap money for it. That's it. And he assumed that they would take the engine out and crush it, which seemed, no, they wouldn't take the engine out and crush the engine. They'd take the engine out and crush the car. And that was actually, in a way, that was a good thing, because I thought, well, why would they take the engine out if it was seized? So the engine must be good. And obviously, as I found out in a previous video, the engine is rotating. It's not seized. It may still be knackered. All the valves might have broken and the pistons might be smashed, but it's not seized. So he took it to Brims. They did that. They took the car, gave him scrap value. He probably thought he'd never see it again. That would have been, we don't know exactly, but as by the phone call just now with Miner, possibly early to mid-90s. So what happened to it since then? Nothing. I think it was with them 20 years? More than 20 years. Because Brims is a motorcycle specialist with a dealership in Kenton, in the town, and there's a vehicle workshop there. Not massive, it's bigger than what I've got, but it's not huge. They have got a huge junkyard, as they would call it, auto spares, whatever, yard out of town. It's like an old, it's massive. And I'm almost of the opinion that it was probably in there for 25 years. Apparently the guy who owns the place collects weird and wonderful. He collects weird, wonderful, wacky stuff. People on Facebook had told me he didn't particularly like letting stuff go. So, yeah, it is the sort of car, if you were in America, you'd see this and go, well, no one else is going to have one of them. I'll have that. I'll fix it one day. And you're never going to, but you think, well, I don't want to let it go. I think that's what happened. I think it was in Brims for all that time. Now, I've tried getting hold of them. I've messaged them. I've emailed them. I've gone full stalker mode and found their staff on Facebook and messaged them. The staff were helpful. A couple of the guys were helpful. They replied. They were, but when I messaged Brims themselves, the responses were infrequent. And I mean, they're not interested, are they? Why would they be? No one who I'm trying to press for information on this car is especially interested, and if they do show a glimmer of interest, I will bore them to tears with it, because I'll just go on and on and on and on and on and try and get as much info as I can. So I think it was there that long, and the reason I know it was there at least until 2018 potentially is because there's the certificate of title, which was stamped when the car was finally sold and exported, was stamped by them in 2018, November 2018, which is just crazy. It was there for that long. I mean, it's got forklift damage underneath, so it clearly has been somewhere like that. I'm just absolutely amazed that it's been in a scrapyard that long. I mean, it kind of looks like it has. So what happened to it when it came to the UK? So it's gone from Paris over to America, over to the first place we know of is, we'll go with Tom's version of events, Cleveland, and then down to Lima, and then to Kenton, and then from Kenton to the UK. Where's it gone in the UK? Well, I've just had an idea, and that idea is to look at the Nova declaration, because I haven't, and I just suddenly wondered if there's a name on it. There might be. Some behind the scenes footage here. So I'm in the process of filming the SM history video, and everything I've found so far, and I found something new while I'm doing it. It's something that's kind of been in front of me the whole time. There's a name on the Nova form, which I'd missed completely, and I've got all my forms saved on the computer, and it says Yellowstone Off-Road, and I've googled that, and there's no website or anything, but it does seem to point to a road in, well, near Yellowstone, which is a place near, now I think is it Utoxeter? I always said it was Atoxeter, but I think apparently it's Utoxeter, up in Staffordshire, miles away from here, but a lot closer to Lincolnshire, where the car ultimately ended up and where I bought it from. So I've gone on to Google, onto the maps, and there's a car sales place on this road, and there's also this awesome looking little building next to a fairly sort of well-to-do posh house, with some TR6s out the front, one of which looks to be a US spec car. So I think I might have just found something new, a new development, so I'm going to try calling them. I'm going to try ringing him right now, the number that comes up on Google, and just see if they know anything about a crumbly old white Citroen SM that they probably would have bought at the end of 2018. The Nova reference, or the HMRC's reference, is dated December 2018, but the date that the letter went through was actually February 2019. So, and the certificate of title export was approved on the 14th of November 2018. So looks like it took a month, but that's when it came over. It's as recently as that. I mean, it might not have been that rusty when it left. It might be the sea air. Right, so I'm going to try ringing this geezer and see if I can find his phone number first. This could be big, or it could be nothing. Cheaper than ringing America. It is a bank holiday. It's Good Friday, so no dice. The only other thing I've found is that garage, that awesome looking building with the TR6s outside, there's a garage just up the road from it. Car sales. I want to. It's not Rochester because it's was it. It's either Rockstar or Roaster. Roaster. And there is a phone number on that, so I could ring them and just say I'm really, really sorry. It might be nothing to do with you at all, but.
Hello, Dr. Rooster.
Hi there. Yeah, I've got a bit of an odd question. So sorry to bug you, but I'm looking for a place called Elliston Off Road.
Yeah.
Is that anything to do with you guys?
No, 4 doors down the left from here.
So that unit that's on the road near you isn't anything to do with you?
No.
I don't suppose you remember seeing an old white Citroen SM kicking about around there?
No.
No. All right, mate. Not to worry. I'll try him on Tuesday. Thanks for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, well. More helpful than the one in America who didn't want to speak to me. He didn't want to speak to me, but he still answered the question. So, right, so it's nothing to do with them, but it is that wicked-looking building. Now, however much that might have come across as bad acting, genuinely, I did just have that idea. I thought, I hadn't actually looked at the Nova, and so I've filmed a bit, you've seen it, you know. We didn't get through to anybody, but we might do Tuesday, so watch this space. That one might come back. But yeah, it went from the US over to here, potentially to Uttoxeter, and then from there, I don't know how many people it went through. It somehow ended up with a guy I bought it off of, or I bought it from, I should say. He was based in Lincolnshire, in Boston, Lincolnshire, which gave rise to the best line ever used in the whole history of me buying this car. So yeah, didn't find out too much there, but I know I got it from a guy in Boston who is actually on Instagram by the name of the Rust Collector, and he may well have many other interesting projects, but he had this car. He had another SM, one that had burnt out, unfortunately. Plot twist, I actually know the person he bought that from. Lady I know, who in the BX world, so it was another small world moment. And yeah, that's basically as far as we've got with it. And then it obviously ended up here, and it's been here a year. But I think we found out quite a lot, considering it was a car with no documentation. Keys, well, there's a key. One key, and key. Does and key do anything? No, it doesn't even go in. So I can't help but think, and I've filled that with oil multiple times. It does go into the fuel cap, but it doesn't turn. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a mad year. What a mad time. I have an SM and I have a room dedicated to it. I will progress with this car. The reasons that it's not progressing as fast as I would like at the moment are threefold, really. The first one is a lack of time. I'm coming off the back of a pandemic, small business. You can't afford to be mucking about. You've got to be doing what you need to be doing. And we're overrun here, and usually are. The second point is that I have other cars, and I've been working on them. And to be fair, some of those cars have made progress. So I just haven't really shown an awful lot of it, because some of them I don't even film. But I've got other stuff I'm doing. And the third thing is I'm still scared of it. I and then if I get to a point where I think, yeah, no, I can do it. I'm psyched up. Get the toolkit. Oh, I've got to go home. I'm getting there. I think now that I've got the room around it, good light. Yeah. Of course, I also have to give a mention to the Swiss donor shell I bought. That's what's left of that is around the corner. Sad, but I have, in homage to it, look. That's a picture I bought in a town called Dinan, which is in France, and we were on holiday there. Before I got this one, I found that in a little sort of tourist shop. Ooh, I'll get that. And then my wife said to the guy, do you have any others? And he said, well, un DS. Do you have a BX? BX? He could speak broken English better than I could speak broken French. And he said, you like Citroens? Yes. Which one you have? BX. Why? Oh, okay. So, yeah, they're not special to French. Although they should be. Bloody should be. BX, save Citroen. Yeah, so there's that. This is off a BX. That is a part of a door from the Green Hornet, I think it was called. Yeah, I've got all sorts here. I've got Save the Clock Tower. That's the Veterans Memorial Civic and Convention Centre, celebrating 5 years in the gala performance. Saturday, October 21st, 1989, in the Lima Allen County Dance School, something or other. So yeah, at the Civic Centre. That was in the car. I've laminated it, you see. Every garage has to have a smutty calendar, but because this is on YouTube, I can't have a smutty calendar, so I have a goldfish-based calendar. I said, lady who's local, she's actually quite funny. Trash sells trash. Look that one up. Facebook. Trash sells trash. It is quite funny. So that's her calendar. I got bought that. That just turned up one day. And then over here, I'm showing you around now. And over here we have a wall of Citroens, including coolest one at the top, obviously. And then on its own little wall, there we go. That is Ambition, Inspiration. There you go. Swiss car, RIP. And that's the number plate off this. That is an Austin Montego wheel trim I found in a bush locally, and I think it has been in there for, I'm going to guess, many years. And yeah, I found it one day because they were digging it all up, making a new bypass. That's just a BX one up there. Yeah, they were making a bypass, and I saw that hanging on a tree. I wonder how long that's been there. Well, it probably hadn't been on the tree very long. I expect one of the workmen found it and hung it on the tree for giggles. But I saw that and thought, oh, that's going to come off someone's Montego when they were using it every day. Now it's a wall art. Oh, I also have this book the wife purchased. She felt bad because she thought it was an instruction thing or like a book about SMs, but it's actually just a diary. So what I use is, I've got my diary here, which I haven't filled anything in yet because I haven't actually done anything meaningful. And then on the calendar, anytime I work on the SM, I write in the day what I did. So we're on April. I haven't worked on it this month. I did 2 hours on the Chimera yesterday. Yeah, but yeah, you know, from a small beginning, it was going to be like a little video diary of an SM restoration. I haven't got much restoration done, but I have done a lot of other things on YouTube, which I honestly didn't think I would do, and it's all kind of taken itself on a little bit, if you like. It's kind of dictated its own future, so that's good. But the SM is quite happy, quite content. It is out of the weather, it is in the dry, and it's surrounded by friends. Like, oh, the little lemon. That's pretty much all there is on this one, on this special. There you go. You've heard from previous owners, you've heard from people investigating. We've learned there's a Boston in England as well as in America. And yeah, we've learned that so far I haven't done anything except take a wing off. Look, the wing is gone. And soon that wing will be off. And then when that wing's off, I will just do some last minute wiring checks to see what works and what doesn't. And then I'll take the whole front end off. Oh, and if the SM wasn't special enough, the tomato. It is, look, it's the flipping bangers BX.